Somos America, guests, friends, and allies. Thank you for having us here today. This is a wonderful theme. Somos America has fought throughout the years for the civil rights of migrant workers, but they also stepped up in the community to really show what an inclusive community looks like by reaching out to us guest speakers today to be here. And not just to be placed on a platform for this memorable day and the legacy of Dr. King, but for things that we face here locally within our community. Margarito, you mentioned when we first met each other back in the Rise of South Phoenix days, and I looked at Reggie and started laughing like, we've been doing this for a minute together. And it's so amazing that we both understand the needs of our communities and that the adversities that we face when it comes to discriminatory practices and being abandoned and being ripped away from families, which started within our community many years ago. And we have to take a look at what our similarities are and the battles that it is that we face. And I'm so happy to stand here and fight these battles with you today. When we think about Dr. King and the legacy that he leaves, there was a point in time where he shifted and made a transition to get ready to begin the Poor People's Campaign. And he knew that he couldn't do it alone. That's how he reached out to the Chicano community. Even back when the time when they were making the movement happen in LA, he knew that by combining forces together, we would stop the greed and the inequities that we see within our community. And until this day, we fight. We continue to fight. And this is not just a separate fight. This is something that we are fighting together for equity and justice. I stand on the shoulders of Dr. King and all of the hard work that he did. He was an agitator. He knew that the riot was the voice of the unheard, and our voices still seem to be unheard. It takes drastic measures to change the systematic and institutional racism that we see in this country today. We should be judged on the content of our character, but far too often we're judged on the color of our skin. I have friends in the Hispanic community that share with me, some of them who are a little bit darker in their family, they're called El Negro, like it's a bad thing. I love my black skin. I love my melanated topical that I was born with, and it makes me who I am, and I want you too to love the skin that you're in. Recently, when I spoke at Alhambra Legislative Days, our dinner, we talked about how the Hispanic community is a growing population within our nation, and this is something that we need to embrace. And we need to empower members, regardless of the dialect that you speak, you are human. That's what we have in common. We are human, and we are here to work together. But ultimately, it's gonna take all of us to win. It's gonna take for us to combine our efforts. I march with you. I fight with you. I stand with you. And I ask that you stand with us as we fight against racial policies and practices that are in place. I ask that you hold us accountable, those of us who are in roles and positions that can change the trajectory that we see in our country. Me, I hold myself accountable to the 70% students that's Hispanic within my district. I hold myself accountable for my refugees and African Americans who are in our community, who feels as if that they may not matter. I fight for them. I ask hard questions. I utilize each and every role to keep and ensure that I am creating the change that I wish to see. We can no longer turn a blind eye or be silent about things that matters. We've been silent too long. It's going to take something dramatic and something radical. What would that look like? Black and brown standing together. Martin Luther King and Cesar Chavez marching hand in hand. Not only that, but we are fighting for everything that makes us who we are. We are the backbone of this country. Our communities help build this country, and we are being treated with an unfair share of what's happening in our education system, what's happening to our workers and their rights, and things that are happening with our communities who suffer from being discriminated upon. I ask you to let this be a call to action, to be involved, to get involved and make sure that you are voting. Understand, we never have to tell Republicans to vote. We never have to mention this story. But it's up to us to get out there and ignite our communities on a local level and place young leaders on a pedestal and also open the door, because we can't be in these positions too long. I ask each and every one of you to take that challenge today, to go ahead and to create a predecessor once you end up leaving your role, to create an inclusive community. And I want you to hold me accountable, to ensure that I'm doing each and everything I can to create an inclusive community. Somos America, I thank you for leading the tradition and the legacy of Dr. King and what he stood for. Not just on today, but every day. When you sit at the table with us, when we go to city council and we have the necessary conversations with individuals who are making decisions that are directly impacting our communities. But from today and here on forward, I thank you all for being here. And I encourage you to know that you have the power within you to make a difference. Not one more time. Not one more time we will continue to be bullied in our communities. Not one more time that we should feel bad about our history and where we came from. And not one time where we should feel ashamed of our complexion and our melanin in which we came from. Thank you.